Welcome to the latest discourse. This is your girl Taz,
And your girl Shy.
and we're your host on TLD. Today's topic is on the state of the world. Guys, how do you feel about that? I know it sounds deep because it is. How do you feel about the state of the world, and what are some of your complaints or what are some of your fears? Please don't forget to tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Oh man, Sean, what you thought about this title?
Oh, it's heavy, like you said, and it's just so much going on now. You don't even know where to begin
Right.
between the gun violence, the pandemic, or the past pandemic,
Right.
the weather. It took a
Right.
while to get warm. I don't, the things they spray in the air. I mean, it's all over the place.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot. And we're gonna only cover what we can cover, but these things is just anytime we talk about a lot of this stuff, we're just scratching surface level. Don't ever get it
Mhm.
twisted. This stuff runs deep. Um and we're just here to just give you guys a little taste of it. So
Mhm.
so we're just gonna ask a couple of things and just get each other's opinions and we're gonna go from there. So let me ask you, Shah, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the world today?
Some of the biggest challenges facing the world today, I think, is climate change,
Mm-hmm.
the ongoing increase in global average temperature and its effects on the Earth's climate system,
Mm-hmm.
destructive artificial intelligence, the pandemic and the threat of future pandemics,
Right.
and biodiversity loss when that includes like different species becoming extinct.
Mm, that's a good one.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot. As you was talking, it made me think about the fires, that are going on in Canada and the fires that you have in
Mm.
California and a lot of times. And it's just like when you go outside and you see, like I said, I'm in Texas, and I'm gonna say about last month or so, I was just like, why every day we going out? It has this cloudy, foggy look in the air, and it wasn't dawning on me because I don't really look at too much news and things of that nature. I'll read it on Yahoo just to kind of stay abreast of things, but I just kept saying it, and then it got to the point where a few days that I'm outside, I'm like, why does my chest feel so heavy? I'm like, do I need my asthma?
Mm.
Like it's just, and you ask yourself, I mean, let me go. I just feel like, let me go in a house where I feel like the air is just a little bit better.
Wow.
But then you start to hear that some of the fires that are happening in Canada is starting to push its way throughout, the states and stuff. And then when you see in the picture in New York, it was like it just looked like something
Oh
you've
yeah.
seen from when people show you the end of the world and and they show you different
Mhm.
movies of New York. Some of them scenes look like that. The
Yes.
sky looked funny, and when the sun is setting, it had this reddish tint, and I'm just like, wow, scary. But one of the
Mhm.
things about that, I always wonder. Listen, I like to invent. For those who don't know, um, and sometimes sometimes you just get boggled down with so many things, but I thought about trying to create something for fires because I said to myself, and I'm not saying that the firefighters that are out there are not working on it. I'm pretty sure someone somewhere throughout the world is trying to come up with something. But I wish someone hurry up because I think that's very important to find some kind of solution to be able to place on the soil that will, I don't know whether to keep the soil moist or something. I don't want to give out too much stuff. I may be telling them, something, give somebody an idea, but just to be able to come up with something where we won't be burning and that stuff just don't, it travels and travels and travels. You know what I'm saying? Because like you
Mhm.
mentioned, we're losing animals, we're losing our air quality because we need the trees. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's definitely giving us pollution.
Right.
Um, I mean, you mentioned a climate control. I mean, I was just telling someone the other day, I'm like, when you look at the weather, I can look at my news, my the weather for the week, and I'll say it can say raining all week, 50% chance. You look at it tomorrow, then it says one day rain, and it's just like, how does it change so
Changes.
right?
Yes.
Before it was what it was. You get what I'm
Pretty
saying?
consistent. Yeah.
Right. And so I said, you know what? I would love to be able to talk to a meteorologist because I guarantee you that person will be like, listen, I'm just here because I don't know what it is anymore. You get what I'm saying? They probably can't even give us a they probably don't, they're confused. Let me just say this. I guarantee you that the meteorologists out there now are confused. I'm gonna just say
Mhm.
that.
I
Because
believe that too.
oh yeah, they're just doing their job. I'm waiting to see I'm just waiting for them to for that particular position to just to fade away because it's not accurate. You get what I'm saying? I'm not blaming them. I just think it's what's going on in the atmosphere that everything is out of whack. I was
Mhm.
I'm gonna say about a couple of weeks ago, we was driving and just kind of going down a place that it was like a long straight shot. So I'm just looking at all the stores and the trees and the homes and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, is it me or we look like we're in full bloom spring? Now, mind you, we're in summer, May, June, but looking around, and I mean, listen, unless I'm going crazy, not to say that summer still doesn't look bloomy and all of that, but it had more of a spring look to me. You know what I'm saying? But it made sense because a lot of things came in so late and the weather was
Yeah.
still cold for so long.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yes.
So it's off, I mean, I could even think about a few months back when I was seeing bumblebees and I'm like, wait a minute, it's still cold. Spring is not here yet. Bumblebee, so if you
Mhm.
pay attention, a lot of stuff is out of whack. I'm still seeing a lot of dragonfly. I mean, not to say that they shouldn't still be out, but a lot of that stuff you normally see springtime, full and full effect. So, mm-mm.
And I normally have a lot of mosquitoes around my house, and I don't know how
Mhm.
to somebody told me that's just part of being in Georgia, but everybody don't have mosquitoes around their house in Georgia. But I haven't seen many mosquitoes yet,
Mhm.
and it's kind of weird. I'm
Well,
glad, but it's not normal. I'll just
right,
say that.
right. And then you gotta remember too, when it's still so cold because it's weather well, not well, here in Texas, we're in full summer, let me just say that. We're 3 digits. But, in a lot of places, because the weather is so up and down still, it may still be kinda cool while you're not really seeing the mosquitoes.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's warm now, but it seemed like it was hesitant for the full warmness to come in.
Right,
So I say the last 2 weeks, it's like, okay, it's hot now.
right.
We're in the
I was
90s now.
right, and shoot, you would think it would be a little higher because we're, like, in June. Here it is, July coming
We're
up. We talk
almost July.
right.
Mhm.
I know I was talking to a couple of people in the north, Jersey, New York and stuff, and they were saying like Jersey for the longest was still really pretty cool. And even New
Mhm.
York. And I was like,
Yeah.
really? So
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
but then you know what? We just had an episode on artificial intelligence, and what people don't realize is companies out there, that like I said, I read all kinds of things that be into different people that's trying to raise money to bring out different type of companies. And it's companies out there that are playing with the weather. They had these things where they're raising money to be able to do that. And I believe that. You get what I'm saying? Because things is all over the place. Like, we'll have it some days it be scorching hot, 110, and then the next day it's storming and hailing. And it's like, what? You get what I'm saying? It's just it's not making
Mhm.
sense. And then you'll feel a coolness in the air, like it's almost like a cold. And it's just like, you know what? No. Where's that person with that remote control that's playing with the weather? Because that's
Mhm.
exactly how I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too wonky, and I guarantee you, like one of the words you use, climate control, that is playing a part. But I still think it's other people that are scientifically are doing things that are just
Mhm.
not normal,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. It just and I'm gonna say this, and then we can move on. But it just makes me think too about because you kind of mentioned it. I forget what word you used, but just the ocean. Um, I don't know if people, like you see them that billionaire just lost his life. Him and his family just kind of, lost their life in that sub that they was what,
Oh,
looking for the Titanic or whatever it was they was doing,
yes. Mhm.
and they said it employed. I think that's what it is. Imploded.
Imploded.
Yeah, imploded. Um, and I know this is gonna sound weird, you guys, but I was thinking other things. You know what? I don't know if people been paying attention to the sharks, the whales, the otter, what I mean? Just the different sea creatures. And if people have recognized, have been paying attention, even with the waters, like I be looking at a couple of people. I know someone who was just on a cruise and she was talking about how the waters was a little rough. And then, I don't know when cruise this was, but I know some of them made the news because I know one was caught up in a bad storm. And then I just seen one someone had on TikTok. And when I tell you, I was like, well, are they on the ocean with a hurricane coming? Because oh my God, them people, the furniture was flying everywhere, the people was
Uh,
flying. Oh, it was horrific. And I was like, oh my God. But I'm saying that to say, I feel like with the whole atmosphere, whether it's coming from the sky, and because they always say that what the moon and stuff like that has a lot, or the atmosphere has a lot to do with the ocean and stuff. It's like that's out of whack, and it's like the ocean is out of whack as well.
mm,
And
mm.
when you think about even the animals, I don't know if it's a vibration or what, but you see how many people are like getting pulled in the water, being eaten up. I seen a video where this guy was swimming and the lady was screaming because she's witnessing him being eaten alive by a shark.
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't believe what I was saying. I'm like, is this real life? And it was real life.
Mm,
Look at
mm,
look at all
mm,
the whales that are knocking the boats over and flipping the boats over and swallowing up people and boats, and you get what I'm saying. The whales are attacking. I don't know
mm.
if people are paying. It's almost like the ocean, the sea creatures are fighting back. And I know people may say, "Oh my God, that's so far fetched. That doesn't make sense." But people have to pay attention. Something is going on,
Mm.
and the creatures are displaying some of this stuff. And it made me think about for people who have watched the second Wakanda and the other Avatar, you guys have to watch that. And for those who have watched it, think about some of the things that they talked about in those two movies and think about what's going on in the sea. And both of those movies talked about sea related things. And it was so funny. One in particular was talking about the whales attacking because what they would do is they would capture them and take something from them. So,
Mm.
and that's it's weird because like I said again, things that is happening in the movies is happening in real
Yeah.
time. So, it's a lot. It's a lot, guys. And I'm just kind of piggybacking off all the things that you said, kind of trying to touch each one of them, but
Mhm.
we could go on and on.
Yeah. I didn't talk about one of the things that most people are concerned about, and that's the economy, finances.
Right.
Do you think the US will enter a recession? S
Yes. Listen, I'm not really into these things per se, and I know I should be, but yes. Listen, we have to remember we cannot continue to do the same things and expecting different results. In my opinion, and I'm talking in code, the owners of the United States have been running this country based on their partners who have massive wealth.
mm,
America
mhm,
is bankrupt, in my opinion, because of the owners slash partnership greed. I feel like, these business partners of America will continue to place this country in a recession until the scales balance out and greed and superiority are no longer a factor.
mm.
I know
Wow.
that
I
that
wonder
was
will we see that in our lifetime when things balance out? It could happen. We don't know. But
listen, look, you heard what I said. The owners of America. Listen,
but sometimes they not always in control. So it depends on what owners you're referring to. The ultimate owner.
well, I'm talking about What? Let me just go. I'm gonna just retract. I said the owners of the United States is along with their partners with massive wealth. So some people say the one percenters or whatever you want to call them. Like I said
Oh,
again,
okay.
that's
But
what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying?
mhm.
Everybody knows
But we
United.
know sometimes things are not always in their control.
So they say. You get what
So
I'm
we
saying?
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Whoever it is or whatever it is, we know that it's 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 not designed for the everyday people.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Currently, it's not.
no. And with that
Mhm.
being said, there will be a recession because it's zero money supply growth. It's supply shortages all over, whether they're talking about it or not. And you got the global political tension along with so many other things. No, should not
Mhm.
excuse me, not the global, what they call it, geopolitical tension.
Mhm.
So
It's so funny, they talk about the recession, we're in a recession, but when I go different places, it doesn't look like we're in a recession. I could go to what was that last week? No, 2 weeks ago, went to a really nice restaurant. The restaurant's full with people. I guess there's certain people the recession may hit, and then certain people it doesn't hit. But
listen, you got to remember, it's going to be like that until it's no longer like that. You get what I'm saying? Until
mhm,
everyone
mhm,
is going to feel it. You get what I'm saying? Right
mhm.
now, it looks like that because, yeah, some people have the wealth and have the means where they're not being affected, whether it's a recession or not. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you hear people that's in the financial world, they say, hey, those are the times that they make the most money. You get what I'm saying?
Right, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? So it all depends on where you are in your financial state and what you know about finances and how to ride the recessions
Mhm,
and go up versus go down.
mhm. Yeah.
So that's to me what it is. But a lot of times, they put that there for their own gain and they make things happen for those reasons. And it's gonna get to the point where it's not going to what did I say at the beginning? You can't keep doing the same things
Right.
and think expecting different results.
Yeah.
So that's
Mhm.
that's my take
Mm.
on that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the definition of insanity. Thinking you could do the same thing and get a different result.
right. And I mean, don't get it twisted. We all kind of do that. But we're talking about when you're dealing with something that's global. Well, let me say, let's just keep it to the United States, but just within the United States, you know, it's no longer working. And you just made the comment, things look good. You ever seen stuff where they say you take the blinders off
Mhm, mhm. That's
and and,
true. That's
and when you
very true. Just because someone is somewhere, they could be walking through the mall with 10 shopping bags, but that doesn't mean they have money.
right.
So,
Well,
yeah, that's
but
true.
that's on that that's on that note. I can't think of that movie. What was it called? They Have Eyes or something like that. I don't know if that's the name of the movie, but it's a whole movie. And I know I'm always trying to reference something but can't never remember. Forgive me, guys. But I think was it Ronnie Piper? One of the old school wrestlers used to be in it. But that movie was so good because it showed how the world have us looking at things. We see the advertisement and we see these different things and oh, the flowers is blooming and this that. But when you put on these certain special glasses, it shows you that the world looks like like a third world country. Can you imagine? So this is what I'm
Mm.
trying to say. See, like you said, it looks good. We're eating, we're dining, we're spending money, we look good. But when you take off those, either you take them off or put them on, whichever one, and you really get to looking around, like that movie showed you, like everything looked like it said so many great things and everything looked happy. But when he put those glasses on, it was telling
Mm.
like the billboard said, kill yourself or eat more garbage. You get what I'm saying? Without the glass,
Oh.
yeah, you see what I'm
Oh,
saying? It was like
no
that,
filter.
right?
Mm.
You have to see that movie. See, this is what I'm saying. They show you so many of these things
Mhm. They
implying,
do.
yeah, and we don't pay attention because we don't want to see, we don't want to accept it. But so that's what I told you. So we really either took the glasses off or put them on, and we really got to looking around. We'd be like, are we in a third world country? You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Buildings are looking bad. The grass is not green. Oh my God. It looks that way, but is it really that way?
Right. Good
So,
point, Taz.
yeah. So let me ask you, Shaw, how has, let me ask you this, how has technology like social media impacted the state of the world, in your opinion?
I think it has impacted the state of the world in both good and bad ways. It gives us a wider perspective of what's going on in the world.
Hmm.
News comes out quickly. It can be a good source for up-to-date information. If everybody's carrying around a phone, I think we could really see what happens in some instances basis what's told to us. We
Right.
have the
In real
evidence
time.
right there.
Hmm.
Um, for marketing people, social media could reach wider audiences for um, less cost. And but on the other hand, I think social media has caused people to deal with more depression because they are constantly comparing their own lives to what they see on, say, IG and say TikTok or Facebook.
Right. Right.
It's just uncanny how many, like, I just saw a preacher shot his wife and shot
Hmm.
himself in front of their three children.
Hmm.
And then that other popular DJ that committed suicide. It's I don't know if we just hear more of these things now because we are on social media. If the number of these type of instances always happen, but we just didn't hear about it as much because it didn't make the news. I
Right.
don't know, but it just seems like it's more
It's
it's more
heightened.
now.
Right.
Yes.
Right. No, it is. It is because, like you said, that stuff is traveling so fast. Versus, like Trump says. For I know a lot of people hate Trump, but I like him, and I like some of the things he say. Like he say fake news. So when you're dealing with the so-called fake news, they're gonna shun some things. They're gonna block some things out. Versus social media, people gonna give it to you raw. A lot of
Mhm.
people have
Mhm.
committed suicide on live and killed people and hurt
Mhm.
people, and so it has definitely impacted the United States.
Yeah. Oh
Not
yeah.
necessarily really in a good way. That's why I kind of, commend some of those other countries like China and stuff where they have their people on time limits and restrictions. And I
I think
think
that's true.
right, and I think that's what the United States should have done or needs to do because at the rate it's going, I mean, look at all these young kids and people are following all these challenges and they're dying with the different challenges because their friends did it. And, like you said, people trying to make statements online and, people, it's so much. And for those that are not
Mhm.
strong, it can really, really impact them. I had listened to this guy on TikTok. It was a little spiritual channel, and I kind of like some of his that pop up, and I kind of listen to him. And what's his name? Roth. What's his name? I can't think of his first name right now, but he got shows called Supernatural, um, things, but in God, and I just love to listen to it. But one of the episodes or one of the little quick TikToks was a guy showing how this young boy was really bent over, really, really bad. And he was like, can I pray for you? And the boy allowed that person to pray for them. And he asked the young man, he was like, do you mind me asking what happened to you? And the young guy was saying that he was addicted to video games. and that's all he did pretty much. And something came through the technology. Now I know this sounds far fetched, guys, but we got to kind of keep everything, kind of think about everything that's going on out here. And he said basically something came through that program or that video game that he was playing, and he said it possessed him. That was his words. And whatever it was caused him to get all bent up like that. Needless to s-
What?
mhm. Needless to say, once that person prayed for him, I guess the next day or so, that guy was back to normal. So I'm just saying that to say, with a lot of this stuff, I feel like what people have to be aware of that, for people who believe in good and bad, you know, that a lot of this stuff that is evil or satanic is pushed through this technology, and we have to be careful and
Mhm.
mindful. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said, with the kids killing themselves or doing different challenges that are taking their lives, you got to ask yourself, who will start something like that? Who will put stuff like out there? And everybody knows, is a trickster behind that, and
Mhm.
and that's why I look at that as being Satan. So again, we have to be careful with this new technology. We have to be mindful, and we have to, you know, use it for what we can use it for, and just not go overboard. That's the best way I guess I could say that, because it
Right.
definitely it definitely is playing a part in what's going on out here.
Mhm. Yeah. So back to more of world issues. Well, in the United States, do you think politics has caused a lot of violence in our country?
Yes. Of course. Why wouldn't
Uh,
it?
uh, mm,
Yeah,
mm,
you gotta think about it, man. Listen, again, I'm not into this stuff, so I kind of some of this stuff I got to think about, read about, whatever. But yes, because you got to remember, you're dealing with people, humans that are not perfect, but are in positions to, um, create laws, put laws in place. And you got to remember, a lot of these laws and things that they put in place is not in the best interest of the people. And
right.
with politics, and the people who play these roles, they say and do a lot of things, you know, that get different groups, different people, different religions, whatever you want to call it, in an uproar.
Mhm.
And with that comes what? Poverty, um, what they call it, the social unrest, and just a lot of what they call it, inequality,
Mhm.
which can contribute to the violence out here. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think they play a big role. You look at them when it's come time for voting and presidencies and all that. I mean, it's become more and more of a zoo than anything. It's like, you know, you almost look at them now like it's like a circus. It's like, where is the decency? Where is the respect? Where is the
That's
professionalism? And
been going for a while.
right, right. And it's not getting any better. So if you have these people who are empowered, hmm
You have a few that's still that way, but a lot of them, the commercials, I'm like, "Oh my
right,
gosh, I'll be glad when the election is over because seeing all of those commercials putting each other down and stuff."
right. And then at the end of the day, it's always going to be somebody mad, and you can't help that, because you gotta always know that it ain't, whatever these people put in place, there's going to always be someone that's not pleased. So you can't please everyone.
Right.
However, I still don't think a lot of this stuff is in the best interest of the people, because if it was, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be going on. A lot of
Mhm.
poverty wouldn't be happening. A lot of, this, with people wanting fighting for justice and these wars, and like the word says, social unrest, it wouldn't be going on. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because there'll be catering more so to the people, where people will feel like some sense of security, some sense of you know what, our politicians are looking after us. They're listening to us, and it's not just for what they want to do. You know, a lot of them say one thing, and then when they get into office, or they get into these Congress seats, or mayors, and whatever these different positions are, they do the total opposite. Or if they don't do anything at all, you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So the violence is definitely, I think it plays a big part, more than we probably even know. Think about it, when with these whole things, the politics, and when they want different things, that's how wars come about. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The main thing that comes to mind to me is the real relaxed laws as far as obtaining guns.
hmm but
And
it's so many, so many, it's so many. It's so
yeah.
many. Let me tell you something. When it's one of those situations where I always tell people, you almost got to be a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And you got to kind of know these laws, because a lot of these laws out here are very contradicting, and a
Mm,
lot of them don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And
mhm.
it's like, just depending on, it's almost like depending on how they feel, whether the law is going to work for you or against you. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah,
sad.
depends on who's interpreting the law and what
That too.
precedents have been made.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a lot. Okay, so let me ask you, Shah, how can we work together to create a more just and sustainable world?
First, let me define a sustainable world. In a sustainable world, human needs would be met without chronic harm to the environment and without sacrificing the ability of future generations to meet their needs.
Right on.
I think each individual should do their own part to make the world more sustainable. Here's a few things that we could do to make the world more sustainable. Number one, go plastic free. Plastic never goes away. Today, billions of pounds of it can be found in oceans, making up about 40% of the world's ocean surface.
Mm,
Every year, thousands of seabirds, sea turtles, seals, and other marine mammals are killed after ingesting plastic or getting tangled up in it.
right,
We can help by cutting down on plastic waste in a few easy steps like reusing using reusable bags as opposed to the plastic bags when we go grocery shopping or any type of shopping, and use and stop using the single use water bottles and the straws. I don't like the paper straws, but
right.
to help the
The
environment,
world,
I'll use
right,
one. And at home I usually use a stainless steel straw.
right,
That's an option instead of the paper
right,
straws. Yeah. So, and I know one of the grocery stores in New York, they're already using the reusable bags, but in Georgia, the grocery stores, if they have bags, like stores like Aldi's, I don't know if there's any other ones, well, Costco's, they don't supply bags. You just have to
right,
use boxes or whatever. But Sprouts is a store that I go to here, and I think next month they're gonna stop using the plastic, so that's good. So
right,
I'm sure other stores will follow suit
right,
eventually.
right. Well,
Okay.
you know what? You made a lot of good points. It's so funny when you was talking about the animal, and see, it goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier about the ocean, and the animals are kind of fighting back, because it's, and people look at it like, oh, you're not making sense, but pay
Mhm.
attention. It's true,
Mhm.
because it's almost like they're tired between the oil spills, and, like you said, all the waste. I mean, to make up what you called it, something you.
40% of the ocean surface.
Right, that is crazy.
That's a lot.
That doesn't even make sense to me? So
Mhm.
so it makes a heck of a lot of sense of what I was talking about. Them things is like, you know what? Y'all done outfit, y'all done overfished, y'all done killed, y'all done robbed, y'all done, hey, we fighting back. So y'all come in this water, we tearing y'all up. And it
Mhm.
sounds far fetched, guys, but it's not. And
Mhm.
I looked at a TikTok just the other day where they was showing these people on the boat. So they go to show you that these animals are not stupid by far. I don't know why people keep
Oh,
thinking that
no.
because they're different species, but this shark was pushing a sea turtle, a huge sea turtle, to a boat. And they was like, "What is this?" They was thinking it was a whale. No, it was a shark pushing this sea turtle to the boat. And when they looked at the turtle was caught up in something. And when they pulled the turtle in,
Oh.
he was caught up in plastic,
Oh.
like tearing his throat, and neck off.
Oh.
And I couldn't
Mm.
believe that. Here it is, a shark. Must
Mhm.
have been
Trying to
his
help
friend.
them.
Right.
Mhm.
Must have been his friend, or maybe even if it wasn't his friend, he's like, "Hey, we're all in this together." And he basically said, "You know what? I'm gonna send you to those people who probably got this stuff in this water, and maybe they can help because I don't know what to do." And sure
Right.
enough, they freed that turtle and helped them and put him back. So
That's good.
you see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So we have to pay attention to this stuff. We really, really do. I seen another video where this mother deer was in the middle of the road and the car couldn't get by. The car, of course, didn't want to hit him. So the car was like, "Well, what is going on?" And she would not move. And she just was looking like, "Hey, you need to help me." And so he said she just took off and he followed. And when
I
he followed,
saw that.
you see? And when he followed, her baby was tied up in some kind of soccer net or something. So
Mhm.
you see what I'm saying? It's sad because it's like we're living what once used to be their habitat or their environment, and they're trying to coexist with us. And a lot of times they're getting hurt, they're getting killed.
Did you see the end of that video when the
Yeah, she
mother,
came back.
she made her son, like the
Hmm.
baby did, thank
Bow
the man
down.
for helping.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, but see, what people don't to me realize this is the time that we're living in now. Things is becoming, you know what I'm saying? Like I said again, people thought, oh, animals are dumb, they can't communicate. No, it's showing more and more and more that hey, we understand, we got feelings, we pay attention. You get what I'm saying? We care about our
Yeah.
babies like you care about your babies,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
and the list goes on and on. So we have to get more conscious. I was just telling a friend of mine's and some family members, like, that's why um you know it's you try to be conscious in a lot of things. Like I learned when I used to study with the Jehovah Witnesses. I'm not a witness, but I used to study with them years ago. And one thing I like about their religion was that they explain things that you didn't normally know. And one of the things was about littering. And littering was big. And not that I was ever a big litterer, but everybody can say, "Hey, I threw something on the ground." But I know that was really what caused me not to. I never forget they was like, "We don't litter, and it's all of us all over the world, we don't litter, but whatever." But she said, "But just think about it. If everybody in the world littered." And when she told me that, that kind of stuck with me forever. Like I was just like,
Mhm.
I would never forget that because think about it. I used to live in New York and I remember how dirty and nasty New York used to look with the trash and people throwing stuff down. I think it's way better than what it used to be. But you just said to yourself, can you imagine everybody in the world that did just do a piece? We would be living in a
Mm-mm.
landfill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to be conscious about the things that we're doing out here to the world.
Mhm.
You
Yep, we
know?
do, and make some changes.
Right.
Definitely make some changes. Back to how can become more sustainable. Be smart about your water, and like I said, maybe skip the bottled water.
Mhm.
You may get a water filter on your the faucets in your home, or there's those different pitchers that you can use a water filter with. And bottled water companies try to give tap water a bad name. Even though the water from your faucet is practically free, and much city water has one quality test and taste test against name brand water. It's just
Wow.
something, growing up, we didn't
Yeah.
drink bottled
Right.
water. Now
Right.
most people don't want to drink the bottled water. Or even like if your refrigerator may have a filter on it, you could drink
Right.
that water.
Right.
So That's
Yeah.
another way to help with the plastic waste.
Well, Imma have to stop because my household is big. We do buy a lot of, water well, just because of the field that we're in and stuff like that, so a lot of water bottles are brought in my house and consumed, so now that you're saying it, because I was just talking about this recycling stuff today because, I'm getting into the habit of shredding everything, and I was like, "What can I do with this shredded paper?" So I was already looking up earlier, "Oh, let me donate this to the shelters," and, just different things, just like you said, trying to find ways to help the earth. You know what I'm saying? Because we live on this and we want it to, first of all, we don't want it to turn on us. And we've seen some of the effects, whether people are
Yes.
realizing it or not. Um, but like you saying, I think I'm definitely trying to find a way to stop with the usage of water bottles for sure.
Mhm.
And but I do know that I don't know if you paid attention when you're buying jeans lately. They show you the little thing like we made these jeans with water bottles from water bottles. I don't know if you paid
Oh,
attention to
I
any
haven't
jeans
seen
like that.
that.
Yeah, so people are being a little more conscious, and that's all we can do. But we have to do that, and
We
do
have to
that
do start somewhere,
right,
do
right.
something to contribute to help.
Yeah, and I definitely recycle, so that's a plus. And I'm doing that a
Yeah, I
lot.
do recycle too.
So
Yeah. Also, water conservation is also critical, especially in our growing population. With our growing population, it puts more demand on the nation's water supply, and we may face an unprecedented drought. So, you can conserve water by taking shorter showers, fixing leaky toilets, and choosing low flow and low water appliance options.
okay. Well,
And
I'm definitely bad on that because I could stay in the shower. I'm like, oh, let me get this aching pain out. Let me just sit in here. So I'm definitely bad about that. So I definitely have to cut on that.
yeah, sometimes, just say, okay, I'm just going to stay in a few minutes today.
Right. Right.
And also drive less, drive green. Changing your driving habits can dramatically reduce your carbon footprint.
Right.
Walk, bike, carpool, or use public transportation whenever possible. If you have several errands, try to plan them out so you're doing it in the most efficient way. And participate or start a car-free day in your community.
Right. Right. Those are definitely
Yeah.
some good ways, you know.
hmm And make your home green. Keeping
I
your home
know.
in shape improves your energy efficiency. Make sure your home has adequate insulation and energy saving windows. You talked about using a programmable thermostat for more efficient heating and cooling. And of course, you got the energy saving light bulbs for more efficient lights. And many states now offer incentives to help you make your home green. And they could have someone come out and do a free home energy audit.
Right.
So
Which I
those
think
are
that should be mandatory. See, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be one of those things we offer that. That should be mandatory. You know what I'm saying? Why not make sure everybody's house is well insulated? Why make you know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens. People gonna run their AC if their installation is not that good or whatever, and that stuff just going they got windows, they got drafts or what that stuff just going right out. But if everything is well insulated and well put together, then that
hmm
eliminate people having to run so much air and it just the list goes on and on. But
yeah.
it's one of those things, this stuff didn't start overnight. So it's gonna take some time, but people definitely have to become a little more conscious. And for those who just have the tendency to still like to throw trash on the ground and throw whole bags of garbage, please think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing.
It's unreal when I see people like right out of my subdivisions of Main Street, and sometimes the
Mhm.
traffic stops up, and I just saw somebody just throw a bag of
Yeah.
garbage out the window.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
I do. Someone who is not conscious of the world that they live in, and doesn't realize that the world is a living, breathing, moving. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
thing. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's real. And like you said, when we talk about climate control and waters and all this, and this is why these things are reacting to us. We got all these bad storms and the water, the tsunamis, and this stuff is not just in our minds. This is the stuff that's like, you know what? We're gonna give you what you've been giving us.
Mhm.
And I think that movie, I want to say Aquaman or whatever it was, one of those little comic book movies, one of those not too long ago too, some years back. That was, see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these movies recently been talking about this water, and in that movie, it showed the same thing. The animals, the sea, they was tired of the pollution, and the
Mm.
waters was coming back. They was throwing it all back. They took every bottle, and they would just, it was almost like a tsunami, and all that stuff that was in there was thrown back on the earth. So
Wow.
again, guys, pay attention. We're living in some
Yes.
times that are very, very critical.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see. I think, we're probably almost, that's it. I think we kind of covered everything. And well, that concludes our show for today. I know we kind of ran over, but it's just so much when you're talking about the state of the world. And like I said, you can go on
Mhm.
and on and on and on and on. Well, guys,
Yeah.
thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, have a good night.
Thank you.